with James Woolsey. He's the former director of the Central Intelligence Agency. Director Woolsey, it's great to see you. Thank you so much for coming in.
Good to be with you, Kate.
Of course. When you look through the lens of the agency, of the CIA, what kind of information are they looking for now in this treasure trove of intel as it's been described?
Well, they'll exploit all the computer systems as quickly as they can. I think they shouldn't be talking about it and shouldn't claim it. If anything, they should let the word out that they couldn't find anything. War is in part about deception, and this administration has such a need to brag when they pull off something like this, which is very brag-worthy, an amazing operation. Congratulations to the Special Forces people and the people who planned it. But they shouldn't be talking about what they're finding. They ought to be, I think, as your last guest said, planning more than anything massive air raids against ISIS. That they haven't done that yet, and they need to.
Well, could it, you call it bragging, but could it also be part of sending a message to ISIS?
Well, if there's nothing there and they say there's a lot, then maybe they have some deceptive tactic at works. But look, ISIS is not just a gang surrounding 2 or 3 leaders. The whole point is that they want to establish a caliphate, a state, the way Muhammad's followers and he and his followers did after they went from Mecca to Medina, and within 100 years his followers ruled much of the world from what's now Pakistan to what's now Spain. It was an amazing expansion that the caliphate brought off. They want to do that again. That's why ISIS is getting a lot of volunteers, young Muslims from other parts of the world. They want to be part of something bigger than themselves, and this idea of a caliphate captures them. That's what's important, that we undermine, destroy the underpinnings of this state that they are trying to build. That's what's key.
When it comes to operations like this, I mean, this is kind of a first of its kind operation in terms of the fight against ISIS and trying to take out leaders or capture leaders, some of their key leaders. Do you think the risk of it is worth it? You were talking about the United States should be doing more air raids, but there's also some talk now, especially over the weekend, of some key lawmakers saying that the risk of these operations may not be worth it. What do you think?
Well, the Special Forces here and Navy SEALs and the CIA on some others have shown themselves to be extraordinarily competent, and where there is a big payoff, it may be worth doing. But by killing people in these raids and by killing people with drones, they're setting up a situation where they don't have anybody to question. And let's assume they question them properly. It's not particularly useful to treat these people, the few that they do capture, the way the administration is. They put some of them in Guantanamo and then release them, sort of as if they're trout to catch and release on a sporting river. They aren't getting as much intelligence as they can and as they should, and there's a lot that needs to be done that's not being done.
They killed this guy, but they also brought back his wife, and we know that she's been in Iraq, and they've been questioning her. How much intelligence, how much useful intelligence do you think she would be able to provide?
I would think a very limited amount, although I think
Really?
She was, from what I've read, as active in the organization. But they're
why so limited, do you think?
Well, unless they are very non-traditional, and ISIS tends toward the extremely traditional fundamentalist side of everything, unless they're very non-traditional, they might well not have a woman in a senior role in their decision-making.
You just one quick final question. You've been critical of the president's approach in trying to take out ISIS in the past. Do you think this, well, the administration hasn't suggested as much to this point, do you think this idea, these special operations, do you think this is the right strategy for taking out ISIS, or do you still think that the president's missing the target?
The main thing would be massive air raids. When we were flying in the late 90s over Kosovo, we were flying 1,000 sorties anyway a day. Here, in a lot of cases, they're using a very few. They withdrew people who could be artillery and bombing run spotters. They withdrew training. They're left with a very, very few people. We're not nearly as involved as we can be and should be militarily. and we can do a lot without putting so-called boots on the ground. We're not doing the sort of thing we've done many times in other parts of the world with the South Koreans and so forth. We're not helping bring the Iraqis and the opponents of ISIS along, and it's a real shame. It's one of the things that's taking so long.
I'm definitely seeing some of the evidence of the challenges of the airstrike campaign right now, as we saw the fall of Ramadi playing out right before us. Director Woolsey, it's great to have you. Thank you so much.
Good to be with you.